Oh my gosh, hello, hello. We, Canada Collective, under IWK Network, is so excited to welcome our very dog friendly, progressive, incredible friend, Sarah, who is co founder and CEO of Positive Relief. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're up to, Sarah?
Absolutely. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to address this. And not a lot of people understand the relation between cannabis and the pet industry. And so it's an exciting time, and we're very grateful for the opportunity to touch your listeners. So essentially, Positive Relief is hemp for pets. You can't put it any more clear than that. We have 3 products at this time, which are the treats and the oil. So you can either give your dog, or some cats actually, some cats have been known to enjoy the treats as well. The treats straight up, or you can drizzle some oil onto their food, or you can put it simply under their tongue if they'll allow you to do that. So that's essentially what the company is at this time. We're very new. We did about 2.5 years of research before we launched. And so we're quite new. We launched in, hard to know what year we're actually in these days. The pandemic seems to throw you off a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
2017. When was cannabis legalized in Canada?
2018, October 18th, 17th.
It was October 17th. That I remember. The year I'm unclear. It was
2018.
Okay. Great day. It was a beautiful day for Canada.
Absolutely.
So that's it.
So, oh no, I'm sorry to interrupt you, because I think I like you, as you just touched on when we legalized, everybody kind of took a path, and I find it really incredible and amazing that you were one of the first in Canada specifically, to really hone in and focus on what cannabinoid systems and what cannabis as a whole would mean for, getting into dogs and getting into pet food, and really understanding how that would make a difference.
Yeah, I'm not new to the cannabis game, I will say. I have been an active user for many years. And my grandmother, when she was very sick with multiple myeloma, which is quite a rare cancer, I was young at the time. I think I was maybe 17 years old, 17 or 18 years old when she was first diagnosed. And I remember having conversations with my parents of trying to get her onto cannabis to help her with her treatment, get her, pain level managed with it, her appetite up. And it was just not a conversation that we could have with my grandma or my grandfather, because they just, they were of that generation, and that knowledge that it was a very dangerous or a gateway drug. And so to that day, or since that day, I reflect on it a lot. There's a lot of frustration there. So I'm just so happy how far we've come. It's frustrating at the same time of how long it's taken for us to get here. But listen, we're here, it's happening. And so I was very in tune with that industry to begin with, and from a young age. And I had the benefit of having a 16-year-old dog who was blind and deaf and experiencing arthritis. And I happened to have some oil around. And so I put, my brain got started with that, wondering, okay, can it actually help the dog? And I started getting into the research of it. And I researched it incredibly heavily before I took that treatment.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but dare we say you were a dog with a bone?
Yes, absolutely.
I'm sorry, I had to.
Absolutely. And so and so I trialed it on him, and it worked. Before I knew it, he was getting himself into the car, whereas before we would have to lift him in. He was running up the stairs with much more ease, and I will say that it was an interesting thing with him, though. When I first started him on it, it was about a week and a half of consistent trialing it, and
Mhm.
I thought, I don't really think I see too much of a difference here. So I just stopped. That's when I noticed.
Because then you saw a difference when you stopped doing that, that you saw him revert in like to not favorable actions. And I believe when you and your partner and I both first spoke, rather, I was explaining about my Chihuahua, and I didn't know if that would make a difference, but you have to be consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not typically, I mean, every dog reacts differently, just as humans
Mm-hmm.
react differently. And
Yes.
typically, it's not a very quick thing. I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. It's not immediate. It's not an immediate reaction,
Right.
usually.
Right.
I
Well,
have,
but that's what they say about humans too, right? You need to build up. You need to get used to that and kind of pinpoint. Like for my Chihuahua, he's anxious, right? That may not be the same for the case with an older dog who's it's more joint problems. So it's the same way that we have to monitor what we take as humans. We have to be really conscious of what we're, letting our dogs deal with.
yeah, absolutely. And so that's essentially how it goes for the most part. I have had some customers say that they've noticed it immediately, and that those dogs tend to need a lower dose at the same time. They're
Mm-hmm.
quite reactive to it.
Yeah.
So with my dog Spike, it was more of a gradual buildup, which is typically how it goes. So we
Right.
definitely usually say give it 2 weeks, and then it depends on what you're treating. If it's anxiety, then you're probably looking at least a month before you would see great improvement with it, typically.
And I love that. And I wanted to touch, as you kind of spearheaded into that, we don't, unfortunately, I wish the dogs had voices. If they could speak to us, I actually am secretly glad they don't speak
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah.
But when it comes to that, right, as a human, we can say, oh, I feel XYZ or this. Dogs don't have that voice, so it really is up to us. And what I love about your company and what you've implemented is that you have a cannabis canine consultant.
Yes.
That is incredible. So, and it's that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's to understand, like you were just mentioning, each dog, each different scenario, and kind of what that looks like for treatment. Nobody else is doing that in Canada. You
We
are the
are
first.
we are very, very blessed to have had Sandy, who is a registered vet technician, come to us and say that she was doing this. She's certified. She's actually taking the course right now, and so she'll be done in April. And she's launching her website at that time. She's still doing some trialing with some oils and some treatments at her end. But yeah, we're very blessed that she found us and came to us, and she's clearly doing her due diligence with companies. She had a lot of great questions for us, and ultimately she decided that we would be a good fit for each other. Karen, my business partner, and I agreed, and
Yes.
we're really excited to start implementing her program with our customers. So essentially how that will work is if our customers have a little bit more of a difficult case to treat, be it cancer, epilepsy, anxiety, those are typically the cases where you need to go off of our label, our dosing guide. And Positive Relief, we're not veterinarians. We're passionate about cannabis. We're passionate about animals. We've done our due diligence. We have a lawyer to keep us in compliance with Health Canada. but we are not veterinarians. We make that very clear. We always make sure that our customers know that we encourage the conversation with their veterinarians as well. So to have her on our team, now we're able to actually zero in on what those difficult ailments are, how to treat them, and if we need that customer to go off of our label, our dosing guide, we can do that with confidence.
That is really incredible, because I think that a lot, like, people get confused, right? Because with the whole dog oil and just the overall kind of cannabis act into that, people, I think, were confused and overwhelmed about the amount of information that is available. So I think it's really incredible that you have kind of honed in on somebody that you can meet in the middle with on that. We are going to read, okay, Michelle Sikora, I'm sorry if I butchered your name. Dogs who targeted and then community and system amounts, all living beings, we have said, we have several four-legged clients who have had an immediate response with using CBD derived from cannabis. We also treated our girls with THC and CBD for cancer.
Yeah,
that's incredible. And it's back to your point, right, about knowing your dog, knowing your animal in general, and kind of what that looks like. But you, and this is why I love you and your business partner even more than I would, is that you went the hemp route. You really went that holistic, how do we get this from farm to table for pets?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
And what was the inspiration? What was like that aha moment? And I always joke, but there always is that kind of like, you tilt your head and you're like, okay, whatever that was is not working, but here's what will.
Oh,
what was your moment?
That's a good question. You know, for this whole trip, we've been doing this.
Right. Well, and I think everyone is in the industry, to be honest.
Absolutely. The rules have been difficult to navigate. It's why we got a lawyer. And again, we're very lucky to have been able to retain her. Our lawyer has over, well, I would say about 30 years, I guess, of experience within not only the pet industry, but the hemp industry as well. She has both,
yeah.
Which is incredible. So anyway, she assured us, I think that was probably the aha moment of, okay, we can actually do this. You know, I mean, the aha moment came with my dog when I saw the improvement with him, and then trialing it on friends' dogs and whatnot, and passed it along to Karen, and Karen tried it on her dog, and it was working. It was working. And then, you know, her and I got talking a little bit more. I really thought that maybe I would go down to the farmer's market and set up a table and just share the love a little bit that way. But Karen, being the genius salesperson that she is, she's really a sales rock star. She said, no, we can do this and we can help more animals. And then so more research comes with that, of course, right? With the legalities of everything. And that's when we were questioning where we stood with that. So we contacted the lawyer and had numerous meetings with her. And I think that was probably that's when we were really comfortable with, you're in compliance with Health Canada. Go help the pets.
And I think, and I love that you touched on that, because I think that's something that's really important to be aware of, because even in the last couple weeks, a few other clients, they're kind of, a lot of people are putting forth genetics or cultivars that are not approved with Health Canada. Yeah. So whether it's for human consumption, but especially for baby consumption, it is incredibly important to be compliant and to know what your parameters are. So I dare say that you, like I said, you are pioneering a really new way of feeding our animals. And I will touch back to pre-prohibition rather, where it was mandatory for each farm in Canada to grow a minimum of 1 acre of hemp. And that's because it got fed into the cattle rather, and it boosted up that immune system and all of those good things that in turn humans were consuming. After prohibition, that was no longer a thing. So like I said to you and Karen, I love what your company is doing, and I think it's really beautiful, and I think that it's important to be passionate, but like you mentioned, it's important to be educated, and it's important to know. And unfortunately, there are snake oil salesmen, and there are people who say, "Oh, this CBD oil will work for your dog," and they don't necessarily have the information or the research, like you were saying. So I love that you guys take that very, very seriously, because I take my dogs very seriously. So
100%. They're part of the family. And to that point, Danyka, we vetted suppliers very stringently. And then not only that, the oil that we get from our supplier, we in turn take that and get it third-party lab tested ourselves. Even though they have a COA, they have the pesticide and heavy metal testing, we do it independently ourselves.
okay, so Sarah, for those of us who don't know, because COAs are kind of the gospel when it comes to dealing with agriculture and what we're up to. For those of us who don't know, mainly they think that a COA is required for human consumption, but you are taking it a next step and saying, nope, the COA is third. So can you just delve into that a little, because I know a lot of people are not aware of what and how important that is, and to have that testing done.
I would actually challenge that it's more important for dogs, especially because THC can be toxic to dogs.
Absolutely,
So
yes.
it's really important that we don't have THC, or it's a hemp product, or the THC is less than 3% in that oil that you're giving. Now, there are circumstances where, as Michelle said, she was using THC with her dogs. That's a dangerous game that you're playing, unless you've done your due diligence, you know what you're doing, unless you are under the guidance of a canine cannabis consultant or your veterinarian. So I strongly encourage people to research, do their due diligence, know what they're giving their pets. And so the certificate of analysis is the COA.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really important to know what is being contained in the oil that way.
So what, and I completely agree. So what, as you mentioned, know your research. But if you, like, for instance, my dogs are pretty bougie. I won't lie. They love their pumpkin spice. But when I'm getting their dog food, I am meticulous at looking what agents, what ingredients, all that good stuff. But when you're going into the hemp realm, I think that daunts a lot of people. It's daunting. They're not quite sure what should that look like, right? Like if you're looking at a can of pop, into my American friends soda, I super hate that word. But when you're looking at that, you can see what the sugar grams per, all of that. With hemp, we're not, other than your company that I luckily was connected with, no, I don't feel that there is that amount of information available. Even when you're talking oil, hemp oil for your pets, it will say, X amount, but it's not necessarily, I don't want to say accurate, but it's not a lot of information for somebody. Like you said, this wasn't your first rodeo. You were already aware, you knew kind of what you were looking for. But for somebody who's new coming into that,
Yeah.
and like I have a lot of colleagues and friends that their dogs are getting older, and they're saying, hey, like, how can this work? How can this help? So for people who don't know, I feel like they kind of get confused. So what would be the main thing that you say for somebody to look at when they're looking at sustainable hemp food for their animals? I know that was a long-winded question.
That's okay. That's okay. I think if you're talking about the COA and analyzing the COA, you just really, the number one thing is you want to make sure that you have the less than 3% THC Delta 9 content.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. That really makes it a lot easier. I mean, we could be here all day analyzing all of the different cannabinoids that are within the plant, right? That the COA
Right.
will pick up. But that's number one. That'll make it easy for them. Yeah, with regards to food and food labels, that's interesting. When we were talking just before setting this interview up a little bit, you had given me the idea that you wanted to touch on hemp and cannabis and its place within the food industry. And I
Correct.
think that is an amazing topic. I think that is where we're going.
Yes.
That is not quite, as I said in the very beginning, that's not quite where positive relief is just yet.
You're
You know,
getting there.
that's the goal is, well, we have a number of goals, but I would like to see food that we put out. And listen, it doesn't have to be us. Just somebody do it. Help the pets.
And so I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's what I love about your company and your initiative so much is that there is not a greedy space. It does not need to be. You are really out here trying to say, we want this message out. Let us help you. Let us help you create a healthier workspace and eating space consumption for our animals.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. There's a lot of room in this industry and there's an awful lot of animals to be helping. So I think we absolutely could have more players in the game. And this industry, I've been in a number of industries. I'm not a young pup anymore, so I've been in a number of industries over my many years. And I adore this industry. The connections that you make, it's not competitive very much. I'm not finding it anyway to be super competitive as compared to a few of the other industries that I've been in. So with regards to getting to circle us back to the food situation, I think what we're going to see, just like glucosamine or fish oil or flaxseed oil, that's already heavily in our pet food, right? So I think we're going to get to a point where we see cannabis oil or hemp oil in there just as a regular additive because the benefits are too great to deny. And virtually the side effects are next to zero.
And okay, so can we talk about cost? Because I completely agree, but can we talk about cost? Because currently, I won't even lie, I am very anal about what goes into my dogs, and that cost per bag is crazy. What are
Yeah.
we looking at for cost to implement hemp and to have that part of a staple in animal food?
Yeah, that's an interesting question as well. To speak on it with regards to the food level, I'm not too sure that I'm the right person to talk about that. I can say that the oil is expensive. You yourself know that there's a lack of processing plants in Ontario here, and I haven't quite researched you would know better, the processing plants across Canada.
Mm.
I don't know how readily available they are. I think, Danyka, as we see more players come into the game, I think it's going to be cost is going to go down, right? Supply and demand, I guess.
Well, no, and I completely agree with you. And I've even before, like, regardless of the sector that it is, and that I love my fur babies, but that's what I've said is once we see that consumer demand go up,
yeah,
and there's more of that volume, then there will be more options for facilities that can extract the way that your company wants to for the proper grain and feeding. So,
yeah.
and that is why I love that you and I think I overkill this word, but the precipice. We really are on the precipice of, I used to call it the green rush. I don't think it's a green rush anymore. I think it's an ecological standpoint where everybody is more paying attention to what we're eating, what our animals are eating, and how we're treating the earth.
Yeah.
So once we get to that, I'm really hoping, but why I love you and your partner in Positive Relief so much. By the way, link is in the bottom. Creep them, they're amazing. Is that you were the first ones to start kind of that grassroots when the infrastructure is not there. You guys are taking a risk, and you're doing it because you're passionate and you believe in it.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. And, sometimes if you have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted, so there's still a risk, of course, but sometimes
Always,
you just
yeah.
know when to go and when to do it, right? And we're so glad that we did. The feedback that we're getting is incredible, and it's even just this morning, an email came in from somebody who was placing an order, and Karen was guiding them through it. And but she's a repeat customer, so they were talking about the fact that this woman buys 4 bags of treats per transaction through our website, and
Spoiled
Karen
dog.
Yes, totally. Talk about it, eh? And so then Karen emailed her and said, are you aware that we have oil and it might be a little bit more economical for you? And so they had that back and forth conversation. And she came back and she just said, I'm so glad that I found positive relief because of the benefits that she's seeing within her dogs from being on the treats alone. So now she's going to be seeing probably a greater effect from the oil. The oil seems to just be more direct, right? The treats have the same oil in them, but it just seems to be just a faster, more direct, targeted approach. So to get that feedback, we get it all the time, and it's really, really great.
No, that is incredible, and especially we as fur mamas, and shout out, I know there are so many fur mamas that are going to creep us about this one.
Yeah.
But you love them in such a special way. So when they're in pain and they can't do anything, the fact that you and Karen have created this company and care so deeply about it to be able to target that. And there are lots of different brands. So like we know that. Yeah. But you guys have taken a really holistic approach, and instead of using different plant, like hemp was your move. So that's why I fell in love with you. Obviously, we fell in love with hemp. Yes. But a lot of people don't realize like what you've done and change it. Like you said, the oil, the treats, and I'm sorry, what was the other one?
Just the treats and the oil. That's what we've got
the
so
treats
far.
And the, okay, perfect. And then that goes into your dog food.
We don't have dog food yet.
Oh, my apologies. Okay, but I remember you. Okay, so you had mentioned that was going to be. Oh, did I spill the beans?
No, that's okay. That is the goal. That is the goal, to grow to dog food. Yeah, Karen and I have been very cautious as well at the same time to grow slowly.
Right, and that I think is important too for anybody who don't put the cart in front of the horse kind of thing. And like you had mentioned, you guys did a plethora of research, which is paramount, I think, when you're rolling out a project like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to go back to what you're saying about the cost, I think it's important for people to really realize that this is a treatment for their animals. And even though we have a bag that says treats, you're giving a certain amount of treats to those dogs every day based on the dosing that you want to acquire through the treat. And then the oil you'll drop according to that. Drizzle it on their food or put it under their tongue, as I said earlier. But this is an arthritic treatment. This is an anxiety treatment. This is a wellness treatment. Some people start their puppies on it just to keep the wellness going, so they have an easier time later on in life, which is a really great thing to be doing.
Absolutely.
So if your dog is arthritic, if you have a large dog, say an 80-pound dog, and your dog is arthritic and he's aging, is that what you have? You have a few.
Well, Sophia's 175 and Bali's 150.
What kind of dogs?
Bali is a Belgian Malinois and Sophia is a Rottweiler. And then my 2 little ones are a Chihuahua and a Maltese mix.
So my daughter is behind the computer here making some sort of salad for her dinner, and we love the Malinois. And so her jaw just dropped. Anyway, I'll get you a picture.
That's Actually, if you call him pretty nice, he might come.
What's his name?
I'm from Bali. I'm
Bali.
surprised he hasn't been annoying yet, to be honest. Ball.
Bali, let's see you. Bali. Bali.
It's always the thing with dogs. Like when I have an important thing, usually he's very, very much there. But he's only 2. I rescued him from when I was in Bali. He came from Israel. So we met in the middle. His birthday is tomorrow. And
Yes,
so,
you.
yeah, my Rodney's birthday is tomorrow. So I was really excited to do the dog segment.
Oh, amazing. Oh, that's
And
great.
you know that I'm going to be buying treats from you with these sweet hemp, all that good stuff.
So yes, you would need a lot of treats. I would suggest the oil because they're large dogs. That's the most economical way to go. But if you're treating anxiety or arthritis, you're going to go to your vet. You're going to spend $80 to $100 a month.
Easily, yeah.
And that the pharmaceuticals, everybody knows it's no secret. Pharmaceuticals are tougher on the internal system, right? So why not give this a chance as well? Sure, right now it seems like some people can get sticker shock if they look and think, oh my gosh, this is $76.95 for this bottle. You have to realize how long that bottle is going to last you, and realize that it's actually medicine.
And I completely agree with you. And like you were saying about, anxiety and arthritis specifically. So Bali is a spring chicken and he thinks he actually can climb walls. That's are amazing.
Yeah.
Sophia is 7 and she's 180 pounds of Rottweiler. She thinks she can jump the way that she wants, but I see her hip going a little bit. And I have spoken to a vet who suggested a dog form of morphine. I was super not about that. So like I said, circling back, I love that you have a cannabis consultant to say, hey, what is the dog's issue? What's the health background? Here's what could work. Here's what won't work. Because Sophia she is not particularly about pharma, but if you, like you were saying, if you don't know what your dog needs or what that looks like, or it's really good that your company is there doing the help and you're a cannabis consultant, your dog cannabis consultant. That is unprecedented. That is really incredible.
It's so essentially too, what will happen is she'll review the animal's entire medical history. Plus,
Mm.
she gives you, I think she's still working it out, but she was thinking around 3 months of support with maybe a one-time payment, so you would pay her that's a big job to go through the entire medical history of the animal, right? And then she'll consult with you. So she'll consult with you before that. She'll go over the medical history, the medical chart. Then she'll consult with you again. And then for 3 months after that, you have access to her. I don't know if it's going to be a limited number of times, maybe 6 times, say, or if she's just going to do the 3 months. I mean, let's be real. Nobody's going to turn you away within this company. And I know Sandy won't as well. If you have questions, we don't want you to take advantage of it because, we can talk about our dogs all day long. That takes time.
You would be the worst. I feel like you would not.
I'm awful with it. So, and I think a lot of us pet owners are guilty. We love them so much, right? So, and we have so many great stories with our dogs. So you have to try to not monopolize an RVT's time. So I don't really know what her structure is going to be just yet. We're going to find out the end of March, early April when she launches and has this all dialed in. But essentially, that's how it goes. So you'll have 3 months of access to an RVT.
Right.
Yeah, with regards to cannabis and cannabis oil and how it's affecting your dog. And yeah, it's I really wish I paid attention in science class because I would have done that.
I feel like you're making up for it, and I think it's really wonderful what you're doing. And like you said, it's not just like, and respect to all the veterinarians, but it is a gouge price, and they go in there and they say, oh, it's this, and they send you home with your animal regardless. Your company is implementing a program where it's like, hey, we're going to, triage, diagnose, and then look over it for 3 months and get on a proper treatment to get it back to, or get it to a healthy point.
Yeah.
So I think that's really wonderful.
I think a key piece in the education too, Danyka, is that there's some very strong misinformation out there with regards to the legalities of cannabis and pets. That is
Agreed.
because Health Canada, in Canada anyway, Health Canada regulates the veterinarian industry. They don't regulate the pet industry. The pet industry is very loosely regulated. With that comes some benefits. With that comes some red flags, some major red flags, and some sketchy players in the industry, right? So, and products on the market that most likely should not be on the market. I mean, just one thing that's flashing into my head right now is the ropes. As much as we love those ropes and the dogs love to play with them, they shred so badly that there is a danger to their intestines with the rope. They poop them out. And there's so many different rawhide bone. There's lots of different discussions with regards to some products on the market. And that is because the pet industry is very loosely regulated. So with regards to cannabis, when a veterinarian says there's no approved product on the market, they are correct in that there's no approved product for them to prescribe. But there are products on the market that have been vetted, such as Positive Relief. We know our product, we know it's safe for your dog, and therefore, and we can access it, and therefore we can give it to you. So that's the difference. And I know that a lot of veterinarians out there feel like their hands are tied, because sometimes they feel like they can't even speak about cannabis yet, because they're so heavily regulated. So
and if they say that, what's the stigma and what's the backlash going to be like?
Yep. So just as we saw it with humans, we're seeing it with our pets now. And so, to be able to have the canine cannabis consultant on our team, it's really great. It's really great.
That is, and like I said kind of several times, you and Karen and your team, you're really pioneering something. Like we've dealt with prohibition with humans, but exactly like you said, vets feel like they have their hands tied. There's not enough research. There's not enough breaking the stigma for animals, which is, it's kind of interesting because like we abolished prohibition in 2018. But we're still definitely seeing, like you said, animals suffer when it could be rectified, and especially with your company. So I am so grateful to know you guys and be able to work with you and see, like, I believe we spoke almost, I want to say 7 months ago, and you were guys just kind of doing your thing. And now in that short time, you're here, you have a new cannabis canine consultant, which is unprecedented in, I think, I will fact check that, but I think in Canada, you'd be the first. And you guys aren't stopping, and you really genuinely care about, the upkeep and marrying the science and the education and the care of animals and dogs.
Yeah, 100%. And so we're very excited about the future and our relationship together with you.
Yeah.
And what you're doing. I mean, you are pioneering stuff yourself. I mean,
I appreciate you.
Well, you very much impressed me, where you're probably half my age, and you're in the thick of it, and your story is wonderful with how you took over your grandmother's farm, and you're not that far down the road from us. So
Oh,
yeah,
well, we will be in each other's areas. I look forward to working with you, truly, truly, and I'm so grateful actually to be able to work with a company like yours and what you guys are doing. So I know Kim's gonna kick me off in like 3 minutes. Kim, I love you. So okay, next step. Where can people find you? Where can they order from and all that good stuff?
yeah. Well, for the bricks and mortars right now, we're mainly locally in Muskoka. And quite frankly, this is where
Okay.
I wish Karen was here because she takes care of all the sales. Um, I'm not too sure of where we're in bricks and mortars, but you can find out where we sell them in stores on our website at positiverelief.com. You can
Okay.
also order directly through our website as well. It'll come right to your door. There's free shipping. I think orders over 70 free shipping. So positiverelief.com is your best bet for all the
It's
information.
on the link. Everyone that's watching, we have positiverelief.com. There you go. Continue, lovely.
Thank you. So just go there. And if anybody has any questions at all, then please reach out. Karen and I pride ourselves in our customer service. And we're all about the education behind this brand new industry movement, if you will, I guess.
Yeah.
And the other thing, too, I want to give a little bit of a plug to Backwoods. Wish I was more prepared for this. Backwoods, darn it. If Karen was here, she would nail it. Backwoods something. And Karen set this whole thing up, but essentially it's a business kind of locally to us. They're in South River. They make these amazing biothane dog collars and leashes. So we're selling
Ooh.
them. We have a link through our website right now. And you can purchase them through our website, but they're really great quality. They're easily cleanable, and they don't, dog leashes and collars, dirty. So these are very easily cleanable. You can keep down your like yuckies in there, right?
I mean, I live on a farm with my dog, so I'm used to the muddy all over my face, but that's okay. So everyone who's listening, Positive Relief, and you said that you can find that company through your website, correct?
Yes, they are.
Okay, guys, let's make it happen. Positive Relief, hemp-derived, incredible dog food. And what I also wanted to touch on, because I know that we spoke about it when we first kind of did our Zoom, is that this is an all-female ran company, and we are really, really proud of all of that good stuff. And we are really proud of helping our fur monsters have the same benefits from hemp that we do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh my gosh, Sarah, thank you so much for your time. I could literally speak to you forever. Is there anything else that we want our viewers to know?
No, just I feel bad that I'm gapping on the leash and the dog collar company, but it's brand new. It's super brand new. So
Don't feel bad because we'll repurpose it and we can put all the links in that. No love lost.
Karen's probably pulling her hair out right now.
Oh no, Karen, we love you. Kim's probably pulling her hair out by EP. She's like, you always go over. And I know she's looking at me. But Kim, IPW, we love you. And also we want to see her new tattoo. She got a really incredible tattoo of a mic and CBD. Yay. But I am going to do this. We will get the name of your company. We will absolutely send out all your good stuff. And this is not the end. I am very grateful for you taking the time to chat with us.
Very grateful for the opportunity. Thank you, Danyka.
Oh, Sarah, you're amazing. We'll speak soon.
Yes, you bet.
Bye, everyone. Positiverelief.com, and we will wait for the collar and leash.
Yes.
Bye, lovely.
Bye.